Good afternoon. A very warm welcome to all of you. I'm Evelyn, your MC for today. Thank you for taking the time to join us for today's Discover webinar session. Discover is a key event of Science Centre Singapore which aims to raise awareness and celebrate the success of women and girls in science. We have a lineup of inspiring women who will be sharing on their passion for STEM in the various sessions throughout the day. The Discover webinar complements the various Discover programs that are held on-site at Science Centre, and we look forward to having you join us for all the programs. For this session, we are pleased to introduce two speakers from Mondelez International, Ms. Joanne Tay, Group Lead, and Ms. Lam Yingfeng, Scientist, who both work in Candy RDQI Mondelez International. They will be taking us into the colorful world of gum and candy. Ms. Tay and Ms. Lam, over to you.
Hi everyone, I'm Joanne, and together with my colleague Yingfeng, we are here today to talk about this topic about colorful world of gum and candy. Now, we are both food scientists at Mondelez International, located in Singapore Technical Centre. And today we'll bring you through the colorful world of gum and candy. Now, before we start, let me share with you a little bit more about our company, Mondelez International. It is one of the world's largest snacking company. Okay, we make different types of biscuit, chocolate, candy, and gum products. And of course, our mission is actually to lead the future of snacking around the world by offering the right snack at the right moment, made the right way. Now, we have a mix of global brands, local jewelers in our huge and rich portfolio. So some of our global brands, I'm sure you have heard about it, which is including like Oreo, sandwich cookies, Milka chocolate, Cadbury, Halls candy, TNCC gummy, Philadelphia cheese, and Toblerone chocolates, and many, many more. Now, we have more than 80,000 employees around the world in about 150 markets. And we also have 12 technical centers around the world that focus in innovating and developing new products and technology for our brands. Now, let me pass to my colleague Yingfeng for we can start our introduction a little bit to get a little bit more to know about ourselves. Yingfeng, over to you.
Thanks, Joanne. Hi, everyone. So my name is Yingfeng. I'm a graduate of the National University of Singapore. I majored in food science and technology. As part of the FST program, I completed my internship in Mondelez in 2010, and I worked on caramels product development for 3 years. And then after that, I extended outside of the company to explore other areas in quality control in the food industry as well. And then I rejoined Mondelez in 2015 to work on a couple of brands that you see here, like Halls and the Natural Confectionery Company you see on the slide. So a couple of my product launches that you might recognize in the Singapore market. Here we have Halls XS, which I did a couple of flavor extension projects, as well as the vegan gummies under the Natural Confectionery brand, which will be coming to Singapore in the second half of this year. So yeah, in my free time, I like to travel and discover the world of the beaten track. But because we're all stuck here in COVID now, I spend my free time cooking and baking at home to apply my passion in food creation outside of work. And now let's get to know a little bit more about Joanne.
Sure. So I'm Joanne. I graduated. Sorry, I heard echo. So I'm Joanne, graduated from RMIT Melbourne. So since young, I really have passions with food science, and that's why I pursue my studies and completed my food science and technology degree. I have about 21 years or so experience in food industry. I started off with Yum in restaurants, doing supply, doing restaurant quality. Then I move on to product development in a flour blending plant. and then followed by some restaurant chain. It's called Brinkle International. I did a lot of supplier audit and restaurant audit. And then I decided to join Kellogg's. It's a snacks company doing potato chips. And about 5 years ago, I joined Mondelez International to be a food developer. So here I am in Mondelez International. What are my interests? I love to bake, love to cook. I think it's all related to my gene of food science. Wanting to cook more, to eat and try out more new recipes. But before COVID situation, I'm like Yingfeng. I like to travel as well. So we have a couple of holidays a year, go out with friends or families. But since this year, we are not able to travel that much. So we spend a lot of time cooking and baking and at the back of our kitchen as well during my free time. So that's me. Okay, shall we move on to the next slide? Yep.
Yep.
Okay, what do we want to know today? Okay, so sorry, because I couldn't see the slide, so I just want to confirm we are at product development life cycle. Yeah.
Yeah, we are.
Okay, cool. Thank you. So from research and development, so the entire process from start
Hello,
to end,
sorry.
like from new.
Joanne, sorry, we aren't able to see the slide. Can Yingfeng
Yes.
share the slide again?
Oh, okay. Sorry, it's wrong.
I'm not able to see the slide also.
Apologies. Let's just give
Okay,
Yingfeng a while
sharing
to
screen
upload
again.
the slides. Okay.
Can you see it now?
Yes. Yes.
Yes, thank
I was
you.
saying the whole process will take a long while. Yep, it will be a year at least or more. So, but before we go into the actual product development, there are actually a lot of things that is happening at the background even before the start of actual product developing. So, for example, we have our colleagues in another department called Consumer Insights and Analytic Groups. They will determine our consumer preference through survey, through group discussion, through market research to see the market trend. And consumer and market trend are actually analyzed via market reports. We also look at competitors' products. And data from all this analysis, right, is used for our research and development of a product and concept. So once it's approved, then it moves on to which is the research and development pillar. So this is where our job begins. So after passing through several trials in the lab, making lab prototype and doing the necessary analysis test, the product then move on to the industrial production scale. And then there we will establish all the quality checks to make sure that the scale up is properly conducted at the end. So once that is completed, then we will finally move it to the sales and marketing pillar, which then consumer or customer will be able to see our products on the shelf. So typically, this is the whole product life cycle from how we start to how the product get being seen on the supermarket that you can actually purchase from. Okay, maybe we go to the next slide. Yep. So this is a little bit more of zooming into the second pillar, which is research and development. So once the product or concept pitch has been generated, so we know what is the concept and what are the scope that we want to do. Research will first be done possibly on ingredients or the processing method or anything that we think that is required to do more research before we move on to the small batch trial. So during the small batch trial, we will do some benchtop cooking and then bring it up to pilot scale. And then after that, this is repeated process that we need not the one-time thing that we will get it right. So we need to, based on our knowledge of what we learned in school and then what we, based on the prototype that we developed. So after several rounds, if finally that we think that is good to show people or to get comments, then we will actually get cross-functional team to evaluate that and to get to see if everybody is happy with it. And once completely working with the prototype, we will usually move to move to pilot trial. And then with the pilot trial, we know that, oh, the scale up is no problem. Factory is able to scale up whatever we have developed. Then we will use the product to do maybe some shelf life analysis to make sure that whatever we claim, let's say this butter candy is a 12-month shelf life, the product is able to survive both food safety and quality, and of course the eating sensation of how you enjoy the product is able to fulfill the 12-month shelf life. Now, having said that, right, if all these stages, if the product is unsatisfactory, recipe may be altered or retrial may be done, new prototype may be created. So all this back and forth is usually the part and parcel of our development work. So usually this will take up most part of the time during the development stage. Okay, let's move on. So these are just some of the recent NPD that we may have successfully launched. You could see some examples like the durian chocolate. So this has been developed actually by Asia. So it's favorite, right? Oh, why not combine two favorites together, which is chocolate and durian, to impart flavor to the well-established international brand. So it's Asian durian with international category. Have you tried to buy it from NTUC or FairPrice, supermarket, Sheng Siong, they're all selling that. It's very nice. Now Oreo, Oreo waffle roll is reinvention of a classic Oreo product. So we know that typically we like the sandwich product, but then we could develop into another form, but it still give you the excellent flavor. This birthday one is quite interesting. We introduced a limited flavor to celebrate Oreo's 100th birthday, and this flavor was so popular that it eventually became a permanent product. Okay, then we have some wholesome candy that introduced, as in we included a vitamin C in there, so that beside eating candy and refreshing your breath, it could also have some health benefits. And the one on the left bottom is actually our TNCC, which is the Natural Confectionery Company, which we call it TNCC. It has we have developed and launched a 25% reduced sugar gummy, and it's also it's a new category or new segment of this gummy to cater for more health conscious consumer. So this is an innovation that we are proud of, and it's been very well received because now people are, want to live well, eat well, and stay healthy. Okay, and what other exciting products and flavor do you wish to see? Okay, stay tuned. We will have many more exciting product launches in the pipeline. Okay, now next, have you ever wondered why all this candy that you see on the slide, right, are so colorful? Why we don't make it like gray color candy? Why must it be so colorful? Well, I shall let Yingfeng tell you why. Okay, Yingfeng, over to you.
Thank you, Joanne. Yeah, so there are a few key reasons why we use colors in developing our tasty candies, right? So we talked about candies a lot. Candies, a basic recipe, we use sugar and glucose. When we cook them, it's really just a colorless base. So in order to emphasize the flavors, we would use these colors to indicate what flavors they are. So for a strawberry candy, for example, you would expect your candies to be like a red or a pink color, and an orange flavored candy will obviously be an orange colored one, right? So that helps to enhance the look, to appeal to consumers like yourselves, and also to help us ensure quality of the candy over the shelf life. Okay, so let us go into a case study of what we call a new product development. Before we start our lab work, typically, we would have a product brief issued to us that looks something like this. Okay, this is to help us confirm the project scope and what we need to work on. So currently in the market, we have fruit-shaped jellies in 5 colors and shapes, like you see in the image here on the top right quadrant. But the challenge at hand is to develop these shapes into 3 new colors for a berry flavor range using natural color sources. So we scientists will then have to work with our color raw materials and other parameters to achieve the colors that are stable and in shelf life and suitable for a gummy format, which is what we want to launch in the market. Okay, so how do we go about this with our natural raw materials? We would look into various color sources. So there are 3 main primary colors, which we know from school or from art classes, right? So we use these to create all other different colors. The primary colors are red, blue, and yellow. Natural red color sources can be from flowers, vegetables, and even berries. You see in the image here, we have hibiscus and beetroot, for example. For yellow, we have flowers and spices that we use in our cooking. We have the calamus flower there and the turmeric spice. And for blue, it comes from flowers and even some microorganisms like spirulina. So these are how we get our primary colors. And then to get secondary colors, we normally mix these sources in specific ratios that we would develop at our lab to mix and match the primary blocks in order to get the secondary colors like purple, orange, or green. Okay, so aside from food sources, another way is to play with the acidity of the product to achieve our desired color hue. An example of acidity indicator is pH, which many of you would have learned in school. Okay, so for the benefit of our younger audience or those who might not have learned about pH yet, pH is short for potential of hydrogen, which is the measure of acidity or alkalinity, and it ranges from a scale of 0 to 14. So the degree of acidity or alkalinity is usually measured from the dissociation of hydrogen ions. When I put the H plus there, it refers to hydrogen ions in solution. So foods and things around us all have different pH. To give you some examples, sourness is characterized by an acidic nature, right? So which means low pH. So lemon juice has typically a pH around 2. And then orange juice being a bit less sour, you have pH 3. And then water that we take is neutral at pH 7. And then soapy water when we use in the shower is normally pH 12. Okay. So referring back to our case study, I will need to design shades of pinks, purples, and blues, right? So I would zoom in and start working on anthocyanins for my project. So anthocyanins can be derived from various fruits and vegetable sources that you see in the pictures here. It can be from grape skin, red cabbage, black carrot, and others. So anthocyanins change their hue from reddish at low pH into a more bluish shade at medium pH. And the higher the pH, the more unstable the pigment is. Sorry? Yeah. So you can see on the right side, the chemical structure of the anthocyanins, right? At the bottom, when it's in higher pH at the basic form, it's very unstable, and that's why we indicate it with like a light grayish color. So let us see more examples in the next slide of how we use these raw materials in our food candy products. So in this slide here, you can see different shades of colors from different anthocyanin sources in 2 candy formats. On the top, we have gummies, and on the bottom, we have coated chewy candies. So as you can see, as pH increases, the color hue of the purples or the pinks also intensifies across all anthocyanin sources, regardless of the vegetable or the fruit we're taking it from. So linking back to the case study, from this slide, right, you can be able to pick out solutions for the light purple and pink shade that I need for my new project, right? And then we have one more color, which is the blue color, which will be, maybe I would find some other solution from it. But how would you identify the solution for a blue colored gummy? If you're curious to find out, then you're very suitable to explore science in your future career, and you should join us in future as food scientists. Okay, with this, we come to the end of our presentation and we open the floor to any Q&A from the audience. Thank you for your time. Evelyn, if you can read out any Q&A we have, and then we can maybe take turns to answer it between Joanne and myself.
We currently don't have any questions. Oh, hang on, there's one. There's a question for both of you. How long have you been working in Mondelez International?
For me, I've been working 3 years at the beginning, and then currently in my 6th year, so total of going on to my 9th year already. Wow. I started out in a brand called Cadbury when we were doing more on chocolate, caramels work, and then there was an acquisition, and then we changed the name of the parent company to Mondelez, but in totality, I'm on my 9th year with the company.
I just completed my 5th year, so going to my 6 years with Mondelez.
5th going to 6th. Okay, we have another questions. Do you have any products that are developed by both of you that's in the market?
Both of us together?
Or if there isn't any, maybe each one of you, is there any particular product that you have developed on your own or with a team and is currently in the market?
Yeah, so for me, I'll just back up slides all the way here. So for me, I think they changed the artwork recently, but you would see Halls XS in like convenience shops and maybe at checkout counters in supermarkets. So this is one brand that I worked on. A couple of the flavors were my creations, and vegan jug gummies and some other that's coming to Singapore this year as well.
Good. For me, right, I've been working on jellies a lot for the past few years. So most of the brands that the jelly is TNCC as well as Sour Patch Kids. So on the shelf are mainly in Australia, New Zealand, but we do see all the new products that's coming into Singapore. So some of the newer SKU that you could see late last year was actually Sour Patch. We bring in the Sour Patch series from Australia to New Zealand. And of course, the TNCC is the standard range of products. The latest one I have was the last year launch, which is the TNCC smoothies. But because different country will decide what products they want to bring into the particular country. So smoothies so far we've only been selling in ANZ, so you will not actually see it in Singapore for maybe next year or in the future that the Singapore commercial teams think they want something different or they like this SKU, they will just bring it in. But most of our product launch is actually launches.
Yeah, our role is very regional. So we do product development for different business units and different countries, products specific to the consumers of different countries. So different countries would have different taste palettes as well. So we really have to study what the consumers from different countries like, and we would cater to their needs and launch products particular to those specific countries in our project scope as well. That's what is covered in the product brief as well, the case study that I showed. Yeah.
Okay, we have one more question. If you could develop a special flavor for chocolate, what will it be?
How do we determine special?
I guess maybe instead of someone handing a product description to you for you to develop, like if you have a choice, what will be the choice that you'll go for a unique flavor for chocolate?
Maybe info I go first. So for me, right, I want to develop a fantasy chocolate. So what is fantasy? It could be up to all your imagination. So it's a chocolate that you will eat and you will be very happy. I mean, chocolate itself will make you happy, but the flavor is something more fairy tale kind of flavors. So it will make you think that you are in a wonderland or in a fairy tale land. I can't take specific flavor, but to that concept, I think it'll be fun.
Yeah, I think whoever who asked that question should join us and put his or her creativity to good use, because that's what we do in part of our scoping work as well. If we don't have a brief, what we also have is like innovation workshops that we throw out ideas in a group and then we see which of these ideas are workable, and it's really fun. Like it's just an open freestyle session, and that's also part of our early development phases as well.
Okay, interesting. We have a question from Phoenix. Which part of your daily task or job do you find the most fun doing?
Eating candies. I think we're very fortunate to have candies fed to us. Yeah, Joanne, sorry, you wanted to say something?
Actually, all parts are interesting, but if you ask most interesting, I will agree with Yingfeng lah, eating candies. But when at the beginning of the project, right, when you have the scope and you get to understand how the scope comes, like usually we are very consumer centric, so we focus on what our consumer wants. So it's very interesting on the data collection front end as well to know, actually my consumer is looking at this direction. Like we sometimes, do not actually have that kind of thinking, but with all the report, sometimes we are surprised by what our wants. And if you ask me most fun, then yes, eating candy is the most fun, which is the end at the, during development and when the product launch and we get to eat all the nice candy.
Yeah, we always help our colleagues, like say Joanne has developed something for her project and she will show it to me and like, what do you think of this? So we'll help each other taste and give feedback. And there's really literally candy every day at work. So much to eat, all kinds of candies. And even chewing gum, because it's actually like illegal here in Singapore, right? But we do have the license to have chewing gum on site because we work on it as a R&D site. So we also help to eat a lot of chewing gum from our other colleagues as well. So that's a novelty only Singaporeans will understand.
Yep.
Okay. Maybe in the interest of time, we have 2 minutes left. We'll just answer one more question. So let's answer the one from Joelle. She asked, what flavor have you invented that you think is the most interesting?
For me, I think, okay, there's a lot of flavors that are interesting, but the one that I like most is actually combination of flavors. I did one apple peach in my fruit smoothie, which I love. I simply love the freshness and the acidity of the apple, and then the sweet. So that is my favorite so far.
And I think for me, it's a very new product that is yet to be launched in Singapore, but it was recently launched in Australia. It's a kombucha line of jellies. So I don't know if many of you know what kombucha is, but it's an up-and-coming health beverage. And in that, I have one of the jelly assortment flavors that is strawberry and hibiscus, as well as another variant that is a ginger peach flavor that is a bit more unique and not the typical fruit flavors that we normally look for in candy. So it appeals to like the teenage or young adults, and personally, I like it very much as well. Thanks for that question.
Okay, in the interest of time, we still have two more questions that are asked in the Q&A. We'll answer separately to the two people after this session. So thank you very much for the candid sharing by our speakers, Ms. Joanne Tay and Ms. Lam Yingfeng. I hope everybody's afternoon is sweetened by the topic of gum and candy. Once again, a big thanks to our speakers for making this webinar session possible. But before you leave, please do share your feedback with us via the link shared in the chat or by scanning the QR code. Thank you for joining us today, and we hope to see you in the next session at 3:10 p.m.